everyone, and welcome to another backyard adventure. Today's adventure brings us to Alleghany County, Virginia. Right now, I'm traveling north on Highway 220, north of the Town of Covington. Once you leave Covington, we begin our climb up the mountain, and along the way, there's a couple of pullouts where you can get some wonderful views of the Alleghany Mountains and the valleys below. If you continue north on this route, you'll pass through the rolling hills of Bath and Highland counties, where you can still find the family farms, community churches, and the old country stores. About 20 miles north of here is the elegant Homestead Resort, which can trace its history back to the 1700s. The Homestead features a couple of championship golf courses, the famed Old Course, and the Lower Cascades, along with skiing in the winter and elegant dining year-round. About 5 miles north of Covington, we come to a small pullout. That's our first stop of the day. The pullout is really small and located near a curve, so you have to be really careful, not only of oncoming traffic, but of pedestrians. From the parking area, it's just a short walk down this paved path to the overlook Falling Springs Falls. The path runs right alongside the highway, and you can see just how close traffic comes. So even though the guardrail offers some protection, you might want to exercise a little extra caution as you make your way down to the overlook. The 80-foot-tall waterfall has long been one of the most photographed spots in the Alleghany Highlands. And legend has it that both George Washington and Thomas Jefferson visited the falls back when this area was still regarded as the western frontier. There are signs posted in the parking area and along the trail that there's no legal access to the falls and you should enjoy the view from the overlook. There is absolutely no hiking here. If you go beyond the fence, you're considered trespassing and are subject to arrest. Back in the parking lot, there's a display that highlights the history of the falls. You can pause the video here if you want to read it. It's pretty interesting. As I was preparing to leave, I heard some people talking about a plaque that was affixed to a rock across the road. So, I decided to investigate.
The plaque affixed to this rock near the Falling Springs overlook, it is hard to read, but it says near this spot stood the rude hut in which Mad Ann Bailey spent the last years of her life as a scout and Indian fighter. She rendered valuable service to the first settlers in this section, placed by the Rainbow Ridge Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution.
When I got back home, I did a little research, and evidently, Mad Ann Bailey was quite well known. She was involved in several battles with the Shawnee, who ended up giving her the name Mad Ann. She also served as a courier and scout during the Revolutionary War. She died in 1825, and ironically, she is buried in a state park in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, near Chief Cornstalk, who was the noted Shawnee chief. After leaving the falls, I made my way back down the mountain and traveled just a few miles west on Interstate 64 to my next stop of this little adventure, the Humpback Covered Bridge. Humpback Bridge is located in a small wayside park just off of U.S. Highway 60, about 5 miles west of Covington. If you're traveling on Interstate 64, just take exit 10 and follow the signs. At the entrance to the park is this bronze plaque that details the history of the bridge. It's a little hard to read, but you can pause the video here if you want to give it a try. The Wayside Park is a popular day-use spot for locals who come to enjoy a picnic while kids splash around in Dunlap Creek. Unfortunately, it's a popular nighttime spot for the area youth who are not bashful about leaving graffiti inside the bridge and other evidence of their activities in the parking lot. But enough said about that. As you travel throughout Virginia, you'll eventually encounter one of these love signs, which I think is part of the Virginia is for Lovers campaign. I may be wrong about that. I'm sure if I am, somebody will correct me in the comments. Anyway, when I first saw this love sign at the Humpback Bridge, I thought they'd left out the V, until I figured it out that they were using the V in the tree. Pretty creative, don't you think? The Humpback Covered Bridge was originally part of the James River and Kanawha Turnpike. The first bridge on this site was built in the 1820s, but it was destroyed by a flood in 1837, and the second bridge was soon built, and it too was lost to flooding in 1842. Yet another bridge was built here. Yep, you guessed it. It too was lost in 1856. The bridge we see here today was built in 1857, making it the oldest covered bridge in Virginia. It's about 110 feet long and 4 foot higher in the center than it is on either end, giving the bridge its humpback appearance. The bridge closed to traffic in 1929 and sat abandoned for more than 20 years. During that time, farmers used the bridge to store hay and other crops. But in the mid-1950s, the bridge got a new life when local residents and businesses developed a plan to restore the bridge and develop the area into a nice little wayside park. The Humpback Covered Bridge was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1969 and today remains one of the most beautiful places in the Alleghany Highlands. Well, this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to end it here on the banks of Dunlap Creek. If you've enjoyed my visit to Falling Springs Falls and the Humpback Bridge, please give me a thumbs up below. And if you want to keep up with my adventures, ring that bell and subscribe. Until my next adventure, it's time for me to head on down the road, see what's around the bend. Thanks for watching, everyone.